We continue now at the top of Daf Chafam and Aleph and Meseches Avodah Zara. This is Avodah Zarah Daf 20a. This Daf is sponsored by David Grossman. Thank you for your sponsorship. If you'd like to sponsor an Avodah Daf, see the description box below to see how you can support this channel. On the previous Amud, the Mishnah said that you cannot sell to an Oved Kochavim land or that which is attached to the land. And the Gemara asks on the previous Amud, Minahani Mili, from where do we know that this is the case? And the Gemara now continues, Diyamar Kra, it's because the Pasuk says, Lo Sechonim, don't show them favor. And we understand that to mean Lo Sitein Lohem Chania Bekarka, don't give them encampment in the ground, meaning to say, don't sell them land, as we just said. The Gemara continues and asks, Hai Lo Sechonim Mi Boi Le, but the words Lo Sechonim in the pasuk that's needed. The pasuk is saying as follows: Lo Sitein Lohem Chein, don't give them favor. Rashi explains, Lo Sitein Lohem Chein, Shelo Yomar Kama Ovid Kochavim Zenoah. One shouldn't say, how beautiful is this particular idol worshiper. So that's what the pasuk is needed for. So you can't use it for the idea of not to sell them that which is attached to the ground. And the Gemara says, Im Kain Lema Kra Lo Sechunim, the pasuk should have said it in that fashion. My Lo Sechanim, why is it saying it in this fashion? Shmami Notarti. So you actually see both ideas. The Gemara still asks, Vakati, but still, Mi Boy Le Dehachi Amar Rachmana, we need it for a different idea, that the Torah is saying as follows, Lo Sitein Lohem Matanas Shel Chinam, don't give them a free gift. The Gemara says to that, Im Kain Lema Kra Lo Sechinam, if that was the case, it should have said it in that fashion. My Lo Sechanim, why does it say particularly Lo Sechanim, Shmami Nakulu? So you actually see all three ideas. Rashi explains, Hachi Garsinim Kain Lichtov Kra Lo Sechunim Bikriyaso Mole. It should have written it the same way it's read, Lo Sechunim, with the Vav de Mashma Lashon Chanina, V'huchein, that would already be Mashma, that it's a Lashon of Chanina, a Lashon of favor. And my Lo Sechanim Chaser, why is it written Lo Sechanim Chaser without the Vav? Kari Bei Lo Sechanim Lashon Chanias Karka. So then you can understand the pasuk, that it means again Chanias Karka. And again, the Gemara ended up saying that all three ideas are actually learned from the pasuk. And the Gemara continues, Tanya Nami Hachi, we have a brisa like this as well, Lo Sechonim, Lo Sitan Lem Chania Bekarka. Lo Sechonim means you don't give them Chania Bekarka. Davar Acher Lo Sechonim, Lo Sitan Lehem Chein. Another explanation, Lo Sechonim, don't give them favor. Davar Acher Lo Sechonim, Lo Sitan Lehem Man Naschin. And finally, the last explanation, Lo Sechonim, means don't give them a free gift. And the Gemara continues, Umatan Aschinam Gufa Tanoi, but the idea of whether you can give them the free gift or not, that's actually a machlokas Tanoim. Tanya, as we learned in a brisa, Lo Sochlu Kol Nevela, La the pasuk says that you can't eat nevela, you should give it to the ger, or you sell it to the nachri. Now the ger we're talking about over here is you're going to give it to the ger toshav. The simple reading of the pasuk is you give it as a gift to the ger, or you sell it to the nachri, to the non-Jew. And so the brisa says, Ein li'ela la ger b'nesino, lo oved kochavim b'mechira. I only know that you give it to the ger toshav as a gift, or the oved kochavim, you sell it to the oved kochavim. La ger b'mechira minayin. How do you know about the idea of selling it to the ger toshav? Talmud Lomar, the pasuk says, Titanena o mocher. You can read it as give or sell, going on both ideas, rather, going on the ger. And li'oved kochavim b'nesina minayin. From where do we know that you can give it as a gift to the oved kochavim? Again, referring to the nevela. Talmud Lomar, Titanena va'achala o mocher l'nachri. It says Titanena and then o mocher l'nachri. Both ideas are going to the nachri. So essentially, both can be for both. You can give it or sell it to the ger toshav. You can give it or sell it to the nachri. Nimsa atomer, it comes out echad ger v'echad oved kochavim. Doesn't matter if it's the ger toshav or the oved kochavim. Bein b'nesina, bein b'mechir. You could give it as a gift or you could sell it. Divrei Rabbi Meir, these are the words of Rabbi Meir, and what that indicates is that Rabbi Meir holds that you are allowed to give the gifts to the Ovdei Kochavim. And the brisa continues, Rabbi Yehuda says, Dvarim kechsavim. The way you learn the pasuk is the way it sounds like, the way it's written, the simple explanation. Meaning, la ger b'nesina, meaning to the ger toshav, you specifically do nesina, you give it as a gift. To the Oved Kochavim b'mechira, and then to the Oved Kochavim, it should be sold. And therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, since he's learning Dvarim kechsavim, you learn the pasuk like it's a simple interpretation, so it should only be sold to the Oved Kochavim. One should not give gifts to the Ovdei Kochavim. The Gemara says, Shaper Kamer Rabbi Meir. Isn't Rabbi Meir saying correctly? Because Rabbi Meir is understanding, again, to read the pasuk in that fashion. For Rabbi Yehuda Amar Lach, now Rabbi Yehuda will say to you, he'll respond to Rabbi Meir as follows. If what Rabbi Meir was saying was correct, Lichtov Rachmana Titanena va'achala u'mocher. It should have said, you give it and he'll eat it, or and sell with a vav, because again, both possibilities apply to both. O lamali, what is the O doing there, which says or? So already when it says it in that fashion, again the pasuk, full pasuk, lo sochlu chol nevela gera shebshrecha titanena va'achala. O machor lenachri sounds like two separate things. Shma mino lidvarm kichsavan hu da'asa. That's why it sounds like it's lidvarm kichsavan. Again, you're learning that it's a gift to the ger toshav, or you sell it to the Nachri. The Gemara continues, Rabbi Meir. Now, what does Rabbi Meir respond to that? Because again, the word O does seem to create that separation. So, ahulak dume nesina deger lemechir dover kochav. That just means, let's say you want to decide which one has precedence. The precedence should be first you should gift it to the ger toshav, and then the secondary choice would be to sell it to the oved kochavim. For Rabbi Yehuda, now Rabbi Yehuda responds to that, kevon deger atamitzuva lachayoso. Since when it comes to the ger toshav, you are commanded, one is commanded to provide him sustenance in life. So that's not true by the Canaanim. There's no commandment that we have to sustain that individual. So it's obvious. You don't even need a pasuk to state that the precedence goes to the ger toshav. And so therefore, again, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the O actually acts as a separation, telling us that it's lidvarim kichsavan. And Rashi explains, Tanya Nami, we learned in a Bryce as well, dekulu yalfi mehaikra. That again, we're learning all three ideas from this pasuk of lo sechanim, lo siten lohem chaniya, midlo ksiv techunem kari bei techanim. Since again, it's not written with that vav, so you can understand it as chaniya. Lo siten lohem chein, it also means favor, kari bei lo sechunim lashon chanina. That's from sechunim, which is, you read it as sechunim, which is chanina, a language of chanina v'hainu chein, and that's favor. And matnas chinam, you also learn about the idea of not giving them a gift. Kari bei lo sechinam lashon chinam, you read it as chinam, and again, that would be matnas chinam, like a free gift. Lager asher b'sharecha, then it said again that by the nevela, you give it to the ger. What is that referring to? Ger toshav shekibel olav sheva mitzvahs. It's not talking about a ger tzedek that accepts all 613 mitzvahs. We're talking here about a ger toshav. He lives in Eretz Yisrael and he's accepted the sheva mitzvahs, the 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach, shenitstavu b'nei Noach, that the b'nei Noach were commanded. Unevela muteres lo. The whole point here is that he's allowed to eat nevela. Ger toshav doesn't keep kosher. And furthermore, there's a commandment that we should provide him life, provide him sustenance. It says over there, that the ger and toshav should live with you. And then the pasuk says, or you sell it again to the nachri. But we're learning again, according to Rabbi Meir, we're learning that goes on the ger toshav as well. To the ger, you either give it or sell it. And lovid kochavim b'nesina minayin tam v'lomer titanena o machor l'nachri. Rabbi Meir also says the same thing about gifting it to the nachri. That's also a possibility. V'darsh l'tarvayu anachri. Both the giving and the selling go on the nachri as well. De'ila dvarim kechsavan asa. Now, if it means just the way it's written, that it literally means to say to give it to the ger toshav and to sell it to the nachri. So if that were the case, the la'ovid kochavim asur l'sitna, that would be forbidden to give it to the oved kochavim. Hachi b'ilei lemechtav. Then it should have written as follows: Titnena v'achola lager asher b'sharecha. You give it to the ger. O machar l'nachri, and then it would say O machar l'nachri. The lo matzi lok mekra denesina anachri. Then already you wouldn't be able to say that the gifting it is going on the nachri. Uli'ovid kochavim b'mechira, and then again you sell to the oved kochavim aval b'chinam asur litin lo shom matana. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you sell it to the Oved Kochavim. You're not allowed to give it to him as a gift. Uparchinan for Rabbi Yehuda, Havadei Shaber Kamer Rabbi Meir. To Rabbi Yehuda, we ask, isn't Rabbi Meir correct? You read the pasuk. You could certainly apply the selling and the giving on both the Oved Kochavim and the ger. And then again, the Gemara said, O cholaku. O is like, again, it's making that separation. Lahakdim nesina de ger, to say precedence of giving it to the ger toshav. Meaning, im yesh ger b'sharecha, if there is a ger toshav in your gates, lo yimchorenu lo Oved Kochavim, then that takes precedence. You shouldn't sell it to the Oved Kochavim. Ulachi asa O, that's what the word O is coming to say. Lamash mahachi, la ger asher b'sharecha titanenu v'hu ikar mitzvah. Give it to the ger in your gates, that's the main mitzvah. O main ger, but if there is no such ger toshav around, mocher lo Oved Kochavim, then you sell it to the idol worshipper. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, davar acher, another interpretation, lo sechanim, lo siten lohem chein. What does it mean, lo sechanim? Don't give them favor. And the Gemara says, Mesayile la Rav, this is a support for Rav. Diyama Rav, because Rav says, Asr la adam sheyomer kamen noah ovedes kochavim zu. It's forbidden for a person to say, how beautiful is this ovedes kochavim, how beautiful is this woman who is an idol worshipper. And the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have a question from the following brisa. Ma'aseh Reb Shimon Gamliel, there was an incident with Reb Shimon Gamliel, shahaya al gavi ma'ale b'harabayis, he was up on top top of Harabayas, of the Temple Mount. He saw a very beautiful Ovedes Kochavim, a very beautiful woman who was an idol worshiper. Amar, and he said, Morabu Masecha Hashem, how great are your creations, Hashem. And even Rabbi Akiva, he saw the wife of the wicked Tornis Rupis. Rok Sachak Ubacha, he spit and he laughed and he cried. Rok Shahai Sabah Mitipas Rucha, he spit because she came from a Tipas Rucha, she came from a disgusting drop. And Sachak, he laughed, Asida the Megaira Vinasavla, because in the future she was going to convert and he would marry her. And Bach, and he cried, the Haishufra Bali Afra, because this beauty in the future would be consumed by the dirt. And the Gemara continues and says, V'Rav, now how does Rav understand this brisa? Because Rav says it's forbidden to say, how beautiful is this Ovedes Kochavim? The Gemara says, Oduye hu de kamoda, what he was doing was, he was giving a certain thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so to speak. Diamar Mar, because the Master said, Haroe brios tovos, if somebody sees good creations, beautiful creations, Omer, he should say, Baruch shekacha bara ba'olam, he should say the bracha, that this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in his world. Ulistakule mishari, but then the Gemara asks, but is it really permitted to look at these beautiful women, as the brisa seems to indicate? Meisvei, we have a question on that from the following brisa. V'nishmartem mikol davara, it says you have to be careful, guard yourself from anything evil. Shelo yistakel adam b'isha noah, that a person should not look at a beautiful woman. V'afilu pnuya, even an unmarried beautiful woman. And be'esha ish, when it comes to a married woman, you shouldn't look at a married woman. V'afilu mechoeres, even if she's not beautiful, even if she's ugly, you shouldn't look at her if she's a married woman. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chaf Amid Beis.